Hello Internet, I'm HamsterBomb here to show off another Magic the Gathering deck that Kim and I have put together. And this is another one just like last time where we have been building around this for quite some time. And the commander, we actually have the giant card this time, is Kaalia of the Vast. You might be familiar with this one if you've actually been playing a lot of these, but this one just happened to end up being a very popular commander. Kim and I actually bought the boxes when they came out in 11, and that was like the only commander boxes we bought. We bought like almost none, so she ended up getting pretty lucky. The one that she liked was Kaalia of the Vast, and she ended up making a deck around this. I obviously have the physical of the original card. We're just kind of looking at the big one at the moment, but still, just so that we can see this a little bit better. I kind of wish they still made these, by the way, these giant oversized commander cards. It's kind of a shame that they don't. The three colors for this are going to be white, black, and red. I believe that's called Mardu. Anyway, Kaalia is a flying 2/2 human cleric and says whenever Kaalia the Vast attacks an opponent, you may put an angel, demon, or dragon creature card from your hand onto the battlefield tapped and attacking that opponent. So that's really powerful. Obviously, this could be used for dragon or demon tribal. However, Kim collects angel cards. So we basically just use this as, it's very similar to last time, as a way to let Kim basically play with her collection of cards, which are angels. Another thing I forgot to mention in the last video, and while I guess I'm talking about this, I'll bring over the box that we used to keep these two decks in. This is a box from Cold Snap, by the way. It has really cool art on it. I figured I'll just show you while I'm talking about this. Because it's dragons and angels, I keep both of the commanders in this box. I don't even remember how old this is. But anyway, I forgot to mention last time that we came up with names for our decks, and this one, Kim's, is called Divine Speed Dial for the obvious reasons that you just heard for how Kaalia is going to work, basically getting her big angels for free. And my dragons are called McGurd. Can't believe I forgot that. But as in the dragon, and Murgurd. So it was in the title, showing off how stupid the text names were. And yeah, I completely forgot to talk about it. So anyway, yeah, we keep the box separate just to show that we have the rest of those cards in here. I've had all of these up in my office ever since we started talking about these. So anyway, yeah, basically the whole trick with Kaalia is to try and get as many of those freebies as possible out. One more thing I get to show you guys, probably not got to see this on the thumbnail, I made another one of these command zones out of perler beads for Kaalia to rest on, just to kind of visualize where the command zone is, and also add some iconography and personality to the deck itself and make it hers. Kim's favorite creature slash character in Magic the Gathering is undoubtedly Avacyn from Innistrad. This I tried to make like angel wings coming out of the three colors. Also, just like last time, keep the primary color she uses the most in the center, and then like the secondary one's gonna fanning out from there. Similarly to how I had dragon wings coming out of it before, these are angel wings, also kind of colored to show specifically Avacyn after she's corrupted, just to add more color in there with the red and the black, because also fits the theming. Also kind of looks a bit like her spear. You can actually Avacyn is below me right now. This is Kim's playmat. I don't even know if I got to mention last time I was using a playmat that Matt got for me. These are the tokens. We're gonna quickly fly through these. She just has lots of angels. This is an emblem for a planeswalker we're gonna see later. And then Kim also has a couple of these flippy full art pathways. We will see them when we get to that point. So, yep, I technically showed you, even though they're upside down. I'm pretty sure she still is the card who calls for this particular cleric. We'll get there when we get there. Some spirits and angels. This one's actually a foil angel token. We got basically just a bajillion angels of different sizes. Some of them are just flying 4/4. Some of them specifically have to be like flying vigilance 4/4, I think. Flying. If they are, they say so. So just like last time, I am just going to be drawing cards randomly off the top of this deck. Some of you guys were wondering if I could pre-sort them, and I could, but I really like the chaos of doing it this way. So I'm sorry if this bothers you. I'm trying to sort them as we go. Now, one thing about Kim's sleeves here, these are, well, she specifically really wanted these because, like I said, the Planeswalker, Sarah, is actually going to be in this deck. These are matte, and I really hate that matte look on cards like this because you probably can't even tell that this is foil, but this is a foil Angelic Guardian. And this is actually a great example to show off what this deck is really all about. 4 in white, which she's probably not going to be paying, as Avacyn is supposed to be cheating this creature onto the battlefield. Flying, whenever one or more creatures you control attack attack, they gain indestructible until the end of turn. Now, the thing about this one, I'm pretty sure if Kaalia, hopefully I don't mix that up or haven't already. If Kaalia brings this one out, I'm pretty sure it does not trigger for Kaalia that turn, because this needs to be on the field. And Kaalia says whenever it attacks. So the attack trigger already happened. This would just be forever after that point. The idea is, you know, you get a big flyer, and of course, Kaalia should be invincible after this point. So the deck is about obviously making a bunch of free huge angels like this, and then making sure that Kaalia can survive and continue to make more angels and just beat face, very similar to the dragon deck like last time. These decks are actually made to fight each other, by the way. Next one off the top we've got is Angelic Skirmisher. I know she likes this one. Same mana cost, flying 4/4 again. At the beginning of each combat, choose First Strike, Vigilance, or Lifelink. Creatures you control gain that ability until the end of the turn. This is a really resourceful one. She tends to pick all sorts of different things to either keep Kaalia alive with First Strike if it matters. Usually it doesn't. Like I said, she tends to be fighting dragons. Vigilance and Lifelink. The Vigilance can help her block and make sure that she doesn't need to, you know, deal with me in the next turn. Or Lifelink has saved her butt before, where she managed to, like, in one turn pull out like 15 4/4 angel tokens, and the next turn gave them all lifelink. I know it doesn't seem as extreme, but this one has caused me problems before playing against it. Mana curve in this is probably going to be really screwed up like the dragons as well, but that's just because, once again, we're going to be seeing a lot of high-cost angels that can fit into this deck. 6 white. Typically, we don't want to have 2 of the same color in this deck, but it mostly uses white, so 2 whites is fine. This one also convokes, which I'm not a big fan of the convoke ability. I don't think she ever flashes this either. She really just uses this to come out for free with Kaalia. But typically, we don't have many things that use more of those colors, the other ones, because it's just harder for her to get her mana working quickly in a 3-color deck that's about speed. So anyway, flying 5/5, when Angel of Salvation comes into play, prevent the next 5 damage that would be dealt this turn to any number of target creatures and or players divided as you choose. This one is actually important because this can protect Kaalia on the turn it comes out. So let's say Kaalia attacks, this comes out, we could actually just say, even if Kaalia was blocked by a 5/5 dragon, all 5 can be blocked with this thing. Next up, we've got, this is a new one. I don't even know if she's gotten a chance to play this yet. Similar to the Dragon deck, we'll keep an eye out on new card sets, but can't really afford to buy packs, so we say, like, okay, we'll just look through the card set when it comes out. If anything really interests us, we'll buy, like, the singles, like 1 or 2 cards out of the whole set, and honestly, sets are coming out so fast anymore, we can't even keep up with it. So Rampage of the Valkyries, 3 white and black. When Rampage of the Valkyries enters the battlefield, create a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying and vigilance, and whenever an angel you control dies, each other player sacrifices a creature. That's really great for team commander, but like I said, we mostly just play against each other, so that is much more powerful if we end up playing in a group. But still, this is really, really strong playing against the dragons in particular, because the dragons are having big creatures constantly, and forcing them to sacrifice really sucks for that deck. I do have other Magic decks, by the way. This is just the first 2 I happen to be showing you. These are the ones that I just tend to want to play against each other. Whisper Silk Cloak, just a really great equipment to put onto Kaalia and make sure that she's unblockable, to make sure that she's safe, and Shroud so she can't be attacked. So basically, you get this thing, Kaalia's safe for the entire game. So this is a really scary card. This used to be really common. They just don't print these anymore. Love that card. Hope I'm moving these with enough room in the back. It's kind of hard to tell. I don't really do this often. Sarah the Benevolent. So here's that Planeswalker we were mentioning. 2 white. Kim saw this come out and she was thrilled. Not so much with, I guess, what it does. What it does is cool. It still works with the deck. If anything, that made her excited. But it was the fact that Sarah, the character, is finally in the game, because Sarah Angels are like the big white creature from Alpha, like the biggest creature you can cast from that. And it had been so long just wondering, like, what was up with that? Who is Sarah? Sarah isn't the angel. The Sarah's angels are a thing. So this was really exciting to see. Anyway, comes out with 4 loyalty. It can +2 creatures with flying, get +1/+1 till end of turn. Basically all of her creatures. But she really just wants to spam this top 2 and get create a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying and vigilance, which is effectively a Sarah Angel. So make a Sarah Angel for 3 of the loyalty counters, and then if she can get to, and once the 6, get an emblem with, if you control a creature, damage that would reduce your life total to less than 1 reduces it to 1 instead. Yuck. For how fast she can make tokens in this deck, clearly, yuck. I don't think we've gotten to a game where that has happened just yet. She rarely draws this, unfortunately. I say unfortunately because, like, I want to see the decks succeed against each other. I mean, I basically built this for her, and I will ask her opinion, like, do you like this card more than the other one? And we'll see what we can swap out for stuff. Anyway, she loves this one. 4 white for Linvala the Preserver. Flying 5/5. When Linvala the Preserver enters the battlefield, if an opponent has more life than you, you gain 5 life. Typically in Angels, well, if it's playing, actually almost anything, it takes Kim a bit to get going. Think about it, the commander takes 4 mana to come out, and then she basically has to wait for Summoning Sickness and then can attack before the Angel deck really starts showing its stuff. So she typically takes a couple hits before it can get going. So the life almost always triggers. And when it enters the battlefield, if an opponent controls more creatures than you, put a 3/3 white Angel creature token with flying onto the battlefield. This also usually triggers for the same reasons, so this is a really great one to cheat with Kaalia. It gets her back in the game and levels the field quickly. Next off the top, we've got Court of Grace. I remember this is another one that we had to pick out of a recent set. I say recent, but I don't know how people consider recent anymore. Anything that has come out in the past 10 years, I consider that a new Magic card, okay? So 2 white, when Court of Grace enters the battlefield, you become the Monarch. And this is basically in here just because nobody really plays with Monarch stuff, or at least we don't. We don't have anything that says Monarch. At the beginning of your upkeep, create a 1/1 white Spirit creature token with flying. If you're the Monarch, create a 4/4 white Angel creature token with flying instead. So since the Monarch thing isn't really going to exchange so much, I know you still can, even if you don't have a card that specifically doesn't say Monarch. Typically she keeps that and she gets constant Angel tokens. Like I said, this is just the way that it goes. Hey, this is foil. Can you even tell? Because I'll just put the mana and the commander over there. What do we got next? Actually, we got a mana problem already here. I drew that many cards and we only had 1 land. Scroll of Avacyn. 1. Sacrifice Scroll of Avacyn, draw a card. If you control an angel, you gain 5 life. This is, it's just a common, but I remember pulling this out like, Kim, this is actually really good for your deck. So just because something's like a common or uncommon, I still think you should pay attention to it and see if it's worth including in a deck or not. Don't discourage digging through commons just to put something together. We got a nice tall land here. I think that's an old one from Zendikar I had. What we got next? Yeah, this one. This one I know, I said earlier about the mana cost. I was actually thinking about a Chroma Angel of Fury when I said that. I wanted to make sure there's nothing really that she can't actually cast with mana if she has to. But this one, just no. 3 red is like never gonna happen. It can, but in 5 colorless, gosh. A Chroma Angel of Fury cannot be countered. Flying, trample, protection from white and from blue for a red, and she can repeatedly do this. A Chroma Angel of Fury gets +1/+0 until end of turn, and you can morph cast her out if you wanted. It's a 6/6. This is just supposed to be a giant angel that is just extremely powerful, that is a good option for Kaalia to pull out, until we find something else. Actually, I think it came in that original set. Yeah, that's the original set that Kaalia even came out, so it's just been in the deck forever. We've just been repurposing it and swapping stuff out of it for all sorts of sets that come out, as I mentioned. Firemane Avenger, 2 in Boros. Flying, 3/3 Battalion. Whenever Firemane Avenger and at least 2 other creatures attack, Firemane Avenger deals 3 damage to any target and you gain 3 life. Yay! Okay. That's pretty good. I mean, she typically is the one who's going to be playing those. I'm not remembering that one as much off the top of my head. I have played, it's a Guildgate. See, we could do better with the lands, but typically I let her do the playing with the Angel deck. The only time I've ever played it, maybe like 3 times or so, was just to test it and make sure that it's functioning. I don't remember her using that one on me as much. Angel of Destiny, 3 white. This is also a newer one from that time that went back to Zendikar. 2/6 flying double strike. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you and that player each gain that much life. At the beginning of your end step, if you have at least 15 life more than your starting life total, each player Angel of Destiny attack this turn loses the game. So she's not gotten to play this yet. I had to read the whole thing in full because I didn't remember it. That's actually really frightening, and I don't want to go up against that because, as you could see so far, she can gain life really quickly and get a ton of angels out really quickly. This is so unfair. I remember seeing this when they made this card, like, that's just busted. 2 and a white for a human soldier, 3/3. Commander creatures you control get +2/+2 and have indestructible. Like, come on. So, yeah, basically Kaalia becomes a 4/4 indestructible, and this thing just sits there. It doesn't even have to do anything other than make Kaalia look pretty. Another Plains. If anything, Kim will appreciate me going through this deck, sorting it so that it gets a better shuffle. Sarah Avenger. I remember she was really excited when this came out. White for a 3/3 flying Vigilance, but you cannot cast it during the first, second, or third turns of the game. It's not much of a downside, honestly, when she's, say, paying for Kaalia to cheat stuff out, and then she's just playing other angels to try and get more triggers constantly, so this is really helpful in this deck. And next we've got a Tall Swamp. Actually, that's from the other Zendikar. I say the other Zendikar. Oh, this actually used to be in my dragons. A Darksteel Ingot. 3 for an indestructible tap mana rock of any color. Just a really nice, useful thing. Oh, it's funny though, that actually had the symbol of that old commander set. It's possible that used to be in her commander box. I'm not sure, because at the same time, I got one of them, and I have a commander deck that is also just as old as her Kaalia deck. We might get to it next, by the way. Akroma, Vision of Ixidor, 5 white for a flying first strike, Vigilance, Trample, 6/6. At the beginning of each combat, until the end of turn, each other creature you control gets +1/+1 if it has flying, and then you basically just keep going down the list of pretty much every other ability, and it gets a +1/+1 for how many abilities it has. It's just dumb. I don't even have to explain to you how shenanigans get crazy with that right away. That card's just dumb. Soul Ring, yay! For some reason they didn't print Soul Rings in the new commander decks. Isn't that just ridiculous? Terramorphic Expanse, because she needs more lands in here. Akroma, Angel of Wrath. This is actually one I was trying to hunt down for her for a very long time. I remember when the dual decks, Divine versus the Demonic, came out. I didn't get the deck. I kind of wish we did, but I remember getting like the Lord of the Pit that came with that for like a quarter or something, and the Angel Kim really wanted to get, and we never could for the longest time, and I think it finally showed up online really cheap somewhere, so we went ahead and got it for her. So another exorbitant cost that we're never going to pay for. 5 and 3 white for flying first strike, Vigilance, Trample, Haste, Protection from black and from red. I'm pretty sure if you cover black and red, you block at least one color from every single commander deck I have, so that is just an uncomfortable card for me to want to play against. Another tall, very pretty land. And next we, oh my god, this. Oh, this is also foil, by the way. It's hard to see with these stupid matte sleeves, but it is foil. Resolute Archangel. Every single time I see Kim flip this card around, show me that she's summoning this, I always roll my eyes like, oh my god. So 5 and a white for flying 4/4. When Resolute Archangel enters the battlefield, if your life total is less than your starting life total, it becomes equal to your starting life total. So Kim will intentionally play very recklessly for like the first half of the game, and I think I've got her down, and then she just pops this thing out and she's back to 40 life in Commander. Like, oh, come on. I just realized I actually put Akroma in the wrong pile there before, which I should also mention, I noticed the last time while I was editing, I put a bunch of mana rocks, just like this, into my land pile for some stupid reason. When I actually sort my decks and try and figure out if their mana is correct, like a good amount of mana, like lands and mana rocks, I put them together so I can count them. So that was my mistake. I did that on instinct of just counting these so many times. My mistake. Hopefully I will not do it this time, and watch, I'll do it in just a moment. Coalition Relic. I love this thing. I have actually, this is a new one. I must have printed another one, so I have an old one of these. Maybe it was in the Dragon deck. Anyway, you can basically tap to add of any color, and I think we saw this last time in the Dragon deck. You can put a charge count on it, and you get 2 of any color the next turn. It's just good. Next up, we've got, oh great, this is just one of her bomb cards. Now, I don't have a lot in the Dragon deck that really like contends with the field, blows things up, but Kim has a few just because she really likes the chaos. X and Boros, Ariella's Fury. Who's Angela? Ariella's Fury deals X damage divided as you choose among any number of target creatures and or players. Tap each creature dealt damage this way. Players dealt damage this way cannot cast non-creature spells this turn. So this is really like not so much a bomb, just like half like a stall to save her life. And if she was put into a risky situation and like I fell for the bluff, then she could just go right for it, tap all of my creatures and hit me one time, you know, and make sure I can't do anything else for my entire turn. This really can just buy another turn if you think about it. So just because like there's no blue in there, people can still do some ridiculous stuff with these. I'm gonna put that in 2s just because X cost stuff's confusing. Hey, here's a foily mountain, yay. Command tower, never leave home without it. Boom, oh, Needle Verge, Pillar Verge. Those full art flippy lands. You saw that we had a couple of those in the token pile, just so that she could switch for one of them. And here we go, another land. Yeah, this definitely needed a good shuffle. Vault of the Archangel. You can tap for 1 colorless, or pay 2 white and black, tap creatures you control, gain Death Touch and Lifelink until the end of turn. So it's technically not an angel card, she just likes it because it says angel, and the art is Avacyn themed stuff. She actually just tries to collect a lot of the Avacyn themed cards anyway. Soren Markov is even quoted on the bottom, so that's why this is in here, even though, you know, I'm sure if she were taking this to a tournament or something, that wouldn't be the most ideal, but hey, maybe it's just good for the deck anyway. We don't really try that hard. Bassandra Battle Seraph, 3 in Boros. Typically, I see that she actually casts this normally because it's 1 mana above Kaalia, and this one she can bring out usually by herself. Flying 4/4, players cannot cast spells during combat. Just shuts that down. Now, granted, like I just said, neither of our decks do much of that. Some of my other decks do, so she does have a good reason to have this. And for red, target creature attacks this turn if able. Yep, just good old taunts. That's always fun. Next off the top, we've got another one of these land thingies. Oh, it enters as one or the other, and enters if you control 2 or more, then it's untapped or something. It's good, I promise. It's a lot better than that Guildgate thing. Here we go. We have Tariel, Reckoner of Souls. This was actually another option that came with that deck. We have a giant version of this card too, because it came with that Kaalia deck. 4 and Mardu for Flying Vigilance, 4/7. Tap to choose a creature card at random from your target opponent's graveyard. Put that card onto the battlefield under your control. It's just a good thing to have generally. I don't remember her using this in a way that like won her the game. It was just more of like a thing that eventually helped, because just having a Flying Vigilance 4/7 that is attacking and then blocking every single turn, it typically is better than that unless there's something really spicy in my graveyard. Swing. The next one we got is a Boros Signet. Look at that, mana, bing. And I'm gonna put it where it belongs this time. It goes up there. Guardian Seraph, 2 white, flying of a source an opponent controls would deal damage to you. Prevent 1 of that damage. 3/4. This adds up a lot. Like, okay, this little guy, I was like, Kim, is he really that good? He's not really doing that much. You need to pay attention in Magic. What are the things that over the course of a game are slowly going to prevent like 20 damage or deal like 15, because you had this like tiny little 1/1 guy that just kept getting through every single turn or something like that. So this guy is like really good, and like I usually see her bring this out, and I remember losing because of this thing. So I need to make sure that I take out stuff like that. You know, this is a weird perspective of me going through a deck as a tall mountain, where I'm like, okay, I hate this one because these are the ones that she plays against me, right? So I'm looking at this from a different size. Oh my gosh, I remember when she intentionally bought this. She found it out at a card store for like a quarter or something like that. Chance for Glory, 1 in Boros. Creatures you control gained indestructible. Take an extra turn after this one. At the beginning of that turn's end step, you lose the game. So if she knows she's like gonna lose, she'll play this, and then if she knows that she can use it to win, she'll play this. This is like one of her favorite cards in the deck, because it's so dumb. And there's technically an angel in the art, so it works in the angel deck. Shut up. Shwing. Next up we've got is Solar Blaze, another one that she really likes. This one's foil too, I think. I'm pretty sure. I hate these matte sleeves. 2 in Boros. Each creature deals damage to itself equal to its power. Now, this should just basically be a bomb, but as you noticed in here, a lot of these angels have higher toughness than they do attack. So yeah, this is actually really, really good, and it's practically one-sided most of the time. Swing, we got a Boros Charm, just because it's 3 really good things you can do to do good things. I'm pretty sure one of those, yeah, one of them, permanents you control, get indestructible. That's usually the one she goes for, because they can protect Kaalia for the turn she attacks. Oh, Moonsilver Spear. Look at the foil, guys, and appreciate the fact that she went out of her way to collect this very pretty version of an Avacyn card. A Moonsilver Spear, 4 colorless to bring out her artifact. Equipped a creature has first strike, and whenever equipped a creature attacks, put a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying onto the battlefield and equip for 4. So if she can throw this thing onto Kaalia, because Kaalia is usually the character she's trying to give indestructible or shroud and stuff like that, all of a sudden she's able to get free angels every turn. I don't remember her getting to use that so much, but there it is. Ariella, Exemplar of Justice. It's another, I kind of wish we got to play more. We don't really get to anymore with conflicting work schedules, but it's a shame. Anyway, 2 in Boros for flying, 2/5. It has Mentor, which is kind of a weird ability, so read it if you want. At the beginning of combat on your turn, choose up to 1 target creature you control. Until the end of turn, that creature gets +2/+0, gains Trample if it's red, and gains Vigilance if it is white. So this like powers up stuff with +1/+1 counters each turn, and then like also buffs other creatures quickly. This turns her smaller field, which usually can't contend with dragons, into monsters very, very, very fast. So it's a really good card for that low mana cost. This is one she's actually going to cast. I say actually going to cast, like with mana, obviously. I got to mention that because this is another one that she would be able to cast. You got to pay attention to, like, is this manageable? Like 4 and under, she'll probably cast herself. Anything above that, nah, she's cheating it. Angelic Field Marshal, 2 white, flying, and 3/3. As long as you control your commander, Angelic Field Marshal gets +2/+2, and creatures you control have Vigilance. So that's really good for like having just buffing, like I said, the whole side of the field. She always wants to have Kaalia out, unless for some reason there is like, it's late in the game and there is no reason to cheat things anymore. She's already got the good stuff. Yeah, and here's the big one. We regretted not picking this up when Innistrad dropped so much. We were gonna buy this, but I think the card, she even mentioned it later. She was like, it was $18. It was so much. We couldn't do that. And I understand, obviously. We typically buy cards when we see them in like a quarter bargain box, or maybe $1 at most, or if there's some unique thing, we'll spend more on it. This is a very expensive card. I don't like even holding this, but she obviously really wanted this one. This is the main Avacyn Angel of Hope card with a stupid mana cost, and is clearly going to work perfectly well in Kaalia's deck, and is probably the best thing that Kaalia could ever cheat onto the field. Flying, Vigilance, Indestructible, 8/8. Other permanents you control have Indestructible. All of a sudden, Kaalia is happening every single turn, and it's a matter of how many things can she cheat onto the field as she's beating my face in with Avacyn. This thing's price obviously skyrocketed. We managed to get lucky. They were reprinting it for whatever that set is, and so yeah, we were able to hunt this thing down and get it for not quite as good as 18, but still, we had to save up for the darn thing. But hey, yeah, just don't let stuff like that pass you by, I guess. No real moral to the story. There's Lightning Grease, which you guys were telling me last time isn't quite as good as I thought it was, which is good here because I want to make sure I'm playing the game correctly. And it does make sense. The equipped is at sorcery speed, by the way, was the thing that you guys were saying to correct it. So basically, if you do it on your turn, it's fine. You can still do it, add it to the stack. But if you're doing it on the opponent's turn, then you're treating it as flash. That you can't do. So if they are casting instants or things like that, then of course you can still use Lightning Greaves. Still a very good card. Foil land that you can't tell is foil. Cool. Yay! Arcane Signet, another card I wish they didn't print because it's basically a must-go in a commander deck card. I'm not salty. Here, what's this one? Scored Barons, another one of these lands that just enters and gains life, so that's cool. Just other ways to get her more of this stuff quickly. Evolving Wilds, another one of those. It's basically Terramorphic Expanse, but they printed it and said something different on it. Okay, so Iona, Shield of Emeria. We actually found out recently, and I say recently as in like last year, that this is actually a banned card in Commander. So I looked into it, and apparently it is banned predominantly because of it being the Commander and not so much in the 99. So I am totally fine with Kim playing this against me, even though I know it's a very powerful card. I want to, like, obviously we own it, and I want to make sure we get to play it and have fun with it. That's the point of Magic. So honestly, I have no problem with this being in the deck. If anything, there is another card in the next deck I'm going to show you guys whenever I get around to that one that is also a banned, really huge creature card, but to be fair, I don't think this should be banned. It's just so much like as a commander. I feel like there should be a separate ban list, you know, for cards that are banned as a commander versus banned as the 99, because this card's fine if you play it in your 99. Anyway, the problem with it is, we read into this, it is flying. As it enters the battlefield, you choose a color and your opponent cannot cast spells of the chosen color. It's a 7/7. So the problem is, if it's your commander, you find a way to get this out really quickly, and if, say, your opponent's playing monocolor, you just tell them to stop playing the game, which is no fun for anybody. But if this is in your 99, it's just a wild card thing that can pop up, and, you know, most people are not playing monocolor in Commander, but still, whatever. There it is. I think it's fine. Let me know what you think of the ban list and ban cards like that. Is Kim fine for playing something like that? Like, we don't care. Obviously, it's kitchen table stuff, so who cares? Sapphire Crystal, hey, look, all those colors are good. Ooh, I almost put that in the bad spot. I'm going to catch myself, I swear, once I'm gonna do this incorrectly. Angelic Arbiter. This, I remember she got a long time ago. I think we got this out of a booster pack, or maybe it was in one of those gimme, like, cheap decks they made at the time. I don't know, but 5 white for a flying 5/6. Each opponent who casts a spell this turn cannot attack with creatures, and each opponent who attack with creatures cannot cast spells. So you have to choose every single time. Well, I have to choose. She doesn't. Ugh. It's one of those, like, I see this card come out and I just go. Oh, this is a new one. Whatever these saga things are. This is one of the only sagas we have, because I don't really understand. I've never played any myself, but anyway, you pay 1 white, and a black, and on that first turn this happens, she gets an angel token. Angels get an extra ability to, like, destroy creatures that are weaker than them, and angels get double strike. It's just the one turn, then the second turn, then the third turn, I believe. I'm an old man trying to play a card game and keep up with it, so give me a break here. It's good to see that her mana curve is a little lower too. Aside from this stuff, making mana curves for decks like this is always really weird, especially for the last one too. Zephyros Sky's Blade, 4 and 3 white. You may pay white and tap 4 untapped creatures you control with flying, rather than pay this spell's mana cost. She tends to not do that. This is Kaalia fodder. Flying, lifelink, 7/7. Other creatures you control with flying have indestructible. So the with flying, that it still counts. It's basically everything. This is just like a weaker Avacyn, but it still does the same job. Very good. Swing. Tall Plains. Look at that. Whee. Oh, this one. So this is actually the correct token that we have for Archangel Avacyn. For some reason, Kim didn't make the little dot in there because she doesn't want to ruin her token. Whatever. Anyway, I'm just going to set that aside so we can actually pull out the real one. And it's a token in there because it is a flippy card. So we're going to read everything we can on this guy. 3 white, which she tends to actually be able to cast this. So flash, it does actually matter on this. Flying, vigilance, 4/4. When it enters the battlefield, creatures you control gain indestructible until the end of turn. So it is a good one to cheat with Kaalia if she wants to. And whenever a non-angel creature you control dies, transform Archangel Avacyn at the beginning of the next end step. So the non-angel creature that may die is probably gonna be Kaalia. Kaalia is not actually an angel. And then if Avacyn the Purifier enters the field because somebody died, either one of those 1/1 spirits or one of the human, there's a couple non-angels in here, but still it's pretty uncommon when it does. Flying, when this creature transforms into Avacyn the Purifier, it deals 3 damage to each other creature and each opponent. So basically, if you're taking down Kaalia, she's coming down with you and this bomb is gonna go off. It's really cool. I'm gonna put that over here just so you can remember that it's there. I know this is gonna be a mess like last time, I'm sorry about that, but I'm just kind of show and telling right now. Angel of Despair. This also came in that same set that we also got with the Kaalia. 3 white, black. Flying, 5/5. When Angel of Despair enters the battlefield, destroy target permanent. Every time, it's another one of those I see it pop out and I'm like, there goes my best stuff. Next one. Hey, look, the plains, and it's foily. Woo! Mirrodin. Next one, Vivid Meadow. It's another really good land. Wunk. Here we go. This was weird. I didn't expect them to do this, but they made another Kaalia card in 2020. Kaalia Zenith Seeker. It's for 1 colorless less, though, for a flying vigilance 3/3. So you know the ability can't be quite as good, though. When Kaalia Zenith Seeker enters the battlefield, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may reveal an angel card of blah, 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 those don't matter, among them and put them into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom in any order. So basically just, you cast this thing and get to draw a free angel, and whatever is the best one goes straight to your hand. So very nice. We got Entreat the Angels. Oh my god. This is one of those miracle cards, and Kim won a game quite quickly by getting the miracle cost on this, like midway through. And then like the rest of the time she gets this, she happens to draw it and she groans. But anyway, like draw it with her opening hand, I'm sorry. So yeah, this is create X 4/4 white angel creature tokens with flying, and the miracle cost makes this go way down instead of paying X twice and an extra white up there. She basically just puts 2 white and as much as she can pour mana into, and she's getting 4/4 flying angel tokens. I guess I'm gonna put that up here. It's kind of hard to tell where you should put the big heavy stuff like that because you don't know how much you're actually gonna pay for it. Heraldic Banner, and I think we talked about this last time, I'm not positive, but basically she can choose white when it comes out, and creatures that share white, which is pretty much all of them, get +1/+0, and it's in any color banner rock. Very awesome. Almost put that in the wrong pile. I swear I'm gonna get through one of these without messing up. Seraph Sanctuary is probably your favorite land in the deck, even though it has no color. When it enters the battlefield, you gain 1 life. Whenever an angel enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life and add 1 to your mana pool. This, as you see, there's a lot of stuff that brings out those angel tokens. This combos really quickly, and when she puts this down at the beginning of the game, I know this thing is going to add up and give her like 15 life by the end of the game. It's a lot. Swing! The other Bright Climb, Grim Climb, so white and black, I think? But whatever, it's one of those flippy lands. Next, we have Gaiata, Font of Hope. I remember them showing this in, I think it's New Capenna. This is a brand new card. This legitimately is brand new, right? For 1 and a white, and I thought this thing was so pushed. So very pushed. Flying Vigilance 2/2. Each other angel you control enters the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on it for each angel you already control. And she counts as 1. And you can tap for white, spend this mana only to cast an angel spell. So you can use it just as mana and make all your other angels come out bigger, but it's so strong. Next one we've got here is, one of these nice new ones where the art goes to the edges. Righteous Valkyrie, 2 and a white, flying 2/4. Whenever an angel or cleric enters the battlefield under your control, you gain life equal to that creature's toughness. And I want to point out, obviously, yes, we have angels everywhere, but there is an important cleric. Kaalia is a cleric, by the way, and I think there might have been like one of those humans might have been a cleric. It might have been like a human knight or something, but still, basically it's also counting Kaalia, which is really good. You gain life equal to their toughness as long as you have at least 7 more life than your starting life total. Creatures you control get +2/+2. Since we're in white and she gets a lot of life gain in here, as I just mentioned, that tends to trigger, and this is just scary really quickly. It's another land. Look at that one. Whatever. It's another one that like you gain life when it comes out. I'm sorry that I'm kind of flipping through these quickly. I want to make sure this isn't an obnoxiously long video as last time. Liaisa, Forgotten Age, maybe if I stop stumbling over my words, it will be. 2 white and a black for flying lifelink 4/5. Whenever another non-token creature controlled dies, return that card to its owner's hand at the beginning of the next end step. If a creature an opponent controls would die, exiled instead. This is mean. It's really mean. It's kind of a newer one. I think it's like Midnight Hunt or something. I don't remember her getting to play this one on me recently, but this is really mean. Swing! Another one, Magister of Worth. Okay, this has a lot of text on it, but basically, since we're only playing with 2 people, Kim can basically just choose that I have to destroy like all of my creatures. Long story short, pause and read it if you really want to. That's basically what it means, and it makes me sad every time it happens, and she loves it. It's such a problem. Rupture Spire, another pretty good land, except you have to pay 1 when it comes out, but still it becomes in any color. We have Sunblast Angel. This is one of her favorites. This was one of them that I know for sure came foil at the front of like one of those starter deck things that was sold at the time. I don't know what year it's saying at the bottom. I think Mirrodin was like 2010 or something. So 4 white flying. When Sunblast Angel enters the battlefield, you destroy all tapped creatures. Even if somehow any of hers were tapped, which it never is, obviously. She always brings this out like the turn after I just sent everything into attacker. I lose everything in 1 turn. And I even know that's in the deck, and I still just like, I never learned my lesson. Boros Garrison, it's another one of those decent lands. You have to put one of them back in your hand, and you can have basically 1 land up afterwards. Oh yeah, here was another cleric. I knew there was a cleric guy in here. White for a 1/1. Whenever an angel enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 4 life. Whenever an angel you control dies, create a 1/1 spirit creature token with flying. You might have noticed I had spirit tokens in there in the beginning, so Kim is definitely using spirits at the same time, but it's mostly just for angels. Archangel of Strife. This also came in that original starter commander deck. 5 white for a flying 6/6. As Archangel of Strife enters the battlefield, each player chooses War or Peace. You choose War, your creatures all get buffed by 3 power, and if you choose wait, did I say War? Yeah, you choose Peace, then they get 3 toughness. Oh, basically she sends this out, chooses War almost every time because her creatures have higher toughness than mine, and I like, it's either like you choose the toughness and pretty much nothing happens, or you choose the War so you can try and contend with her. It's this one's annoying. It's a very cool card though. I love like the Renaissance-y themed art for that one. Here's another Avacyn Guardian Angel for 2 white, flying vigilance 5/4. Has 2 paid abilities, and effectively, from what I remember, she's able to protect Kaalia. That's all it really needs to do. So, yep, there it is. You can read it if you want. Swing! Here's another one. Descend Upon the Sinful. It's technically an Avacyn card. This is when she's losing her mind. 4 white for a sorcery, which means she has to actually pay this. Might actually be the highest costed card in the deck, but it's clearly just here because of the Avacyn collection I mentioned. Exile all creatures. Delirium, create a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying if there are 4 or more card types among cards in your graveyard. She's probably not going to cast this unless that's already going to happen, and then just the boom, destroy the entire field, but she gets an angel on the field just because she'd made the bomb go off. Safari Shelter, this is technically a double-sided card, but since we can kind of see on the bottom of this, it just says a Plains. We just put this in her Plains pile if she chooses to play it likewise. For 1 and a white, tap target creature, target creature you control gains protection from the color of your choice until the end of turn. So this is a cheap way to protect Kaalia just for 1 turn if need be. Sometimes you have to protect Kaalia, and then like the turn afterward, you can get like another way to save her, but this is a very useful one for her. Deathless Angel. 4 white for a flying 5/7. You can pay white and target creature is indestructible this turn. Costs a little bit more, but you can basically just have another way to protect Kaalia and bring out more giant angels. It's a Rakdos Signet. Oh yes, that actually came with there. I'm glad I'm playing the correct Rakdos Signet that came with Kaalia. Orzhov Basilica. It's another one of those lands. Woo! And the Orzhov Signets. It's another one of those awesome signets. Actually, that also came with that set. I'm gonna have to move the lands. The low-costed stuff is actually outpacing what I can reach. We have Herald of War. She loves this thing. For 3 white for a flying 3/3. Whenever it attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Angel spells and human spells you cast cost 1 less for each +1/+1 counter on Herald of War. Basically, if she can get to the point where she can manually cast the angels and make them come out for free, once this thing keeps going, Kim doesn't really have a hand anymore because everything's on the field. Whoops. Woo! It's a shiny mountain. Woo! Angel of Serenity. 4 white for a flying 5/6. When Angel of Serenity enters the battlefield, you may exile up to 3 other target creatures from the battlefield and/or creature cards from graveyards. That is so mean. Here, forget the mana cost. Just imagine, this is coming out. If Kim is putting down 1 mana a turn and not ramping or anything, it's turn 5. Okay, so this is out on turn 5, and I probably have at least 3 really big dragons or creatures or whatever, and they're gone. And then whenever it leaves the battlefield, you can return them to their hand. So this is it's just mean. Really nice art too, by the way. Woo! We got another land thingy. Look at that. Gain 1 life. And there's another land, Rocky Tar Pit. I don't remember this one. Or a swamp or a mountain. Okay. Nomad Outpost. She has the tri-land for this. Good. Next one we've got is a foily, so it's hard to see in here. Anya Merciless Angel. 3 and Boros. Flying. 4/4. Anya Merciless Angel gets 3/3 for each opponent whose life total is less than half their starting life total. We're typically playing 1-on-1, so that doesn't help as much as it should. As long as an opponent's life total is less than half their starting life total, Anya has indestructible. This thing is just strong. If you ask my expert opinion, it is strong. Oh no, I see this card and I just know that the game is over. Blinding Angel. I love that she also gets to play a card that I have from my old collection with the white borders. I really like finding a way that these cards are still powerful and getting to use them. So for 3 and white for a flying 2/4, whenever Blinding Angel deals combat damage to a player, that player skips his or her next combat phase. So if she has a way to make something unblockable, like with that Whisper Silk Cloak, she'll actually move it off of Kaalia, and I know this is coming out for free because Kaalia cheats this onto the field. Some way this thing attacks, gets through with 2, and then the game's over because it keeps happening. I can't hold on to anything anymore. Anyway, that one's a problem. We're almost done here. Gisela, Blade of Gold Knight. That is a lot of text on there, but basically what it means is a high mana cost, and this thing, whenever she deals damage, or any of your creatures do, they double, and whenever mine do any of it, they are halved. Long story short, that's basically what happens. It's really unfair. Almost there. What do we got? Oh yes, Ariella the War Leader. I had to convince Kim when we were actually out at like a flea market or something that she should buy this. They say it was a deck. I think it was like Ravnica stuff. But anyway, it came with like this really nice looking alternate art for Ariella the War Leader on top. And also it came with a bunch of cards that she actually wanted for her deck. And a lot of which are probably still in here. And it was cheaper to buy the whole deck than it was to individually buy the cards, because she was at their counter and like looking through, shoe boxes and stuff trying to find magic cards for this deck. And this was just cheaper. Flying Vigilance Haste for a 3/4. Whenever Ariella the War Leader attacks for the first time each turn, untap all creatures you control, and after this phase there is an additional combat phase. This might be, outside of getting like Avacyn, the meanest thing Kim can get, and probably the best one, because Kaalia gets to attack twice. Ugh. it's a great one. We're getting there, I promise. We have Defy Death. 3 white for an uncommon from Innistrad. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. If it's an angel, put 2 +1/+1 counters on it. This is just a really good card for an angel deck. I don't know if people are actually playing this. I was just going through my old stuff, found this, and I said, hey, Kim, this is awesome. So anyway, yep, there it is. What do we have here? We have a Death Pact Angel. This is the one that made that really weird token that we talked about earlier, who basically, I'm pretty sure like if she dies, then you can use the token to bring her back again if you kind of like keep casting her. Anyway, art's really nice. There's that. I am running out of space here. Ooh, Anguished Unmaking. This was another one, along with Avacyn from that newer set that they were luckily printing a bunch of these, and the price actually went way down because they printed these incorrectly. I don't know if you guys know about this. I was watching the price of Anguished Unmaking because Kim wanted it, and it just cost too much for us. Like, I don't know, like $4 or something. And so basically, something went wrong in this set, and they accidentally printed a ridiculous amount of Anguished Unmakings for no reason, and people were just getting these as their rares, obviously quite angry because there was a lot of more expensive things in that set we obviously couldn't afford to buy anything from, so we just bought the single after the price plummeted because they printed too many. But this is basically the story card of Soren having to unmake Avacyn. Exile target non-land permanent, you lose 3 life. It's just a really good, efficient card, very cheap on the mana, and life means almost nothing in Commander, especially when you have so much life gain, so it's just good. Liaisa, Shroud of Dusk is next for 2 white and a black. Rather than pay 2 for each previous time you've cast the spell from the command zone, this guy, blah, 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 who cares? This is not our commander. Flying lifelink 5/5. Whenever a player casts a spell, they lose 2 life. Obviously, this is, like I just said, this is a deck that actually just prides itself on getting more life constantly because of having angels, so this means nothing to Kim. Seriously running out of room, but I have 3 cards left, and I think I can do it. Oh, this thing. It was actually cheaper to get like this etched foil version of this since it was just non-common, but it makes it so hard to read in a matte sleeve. Agent of the Shadow Thieves, 1 and a black. Basically, your commander has, whenever this creature attacks a player, if no opponent has more life than that player, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature, and it gains Death Touch and Indestructible until end of turn. Basically, just a way to buff Kaalia really cheaply and really efficiently, because, like I said, she's probably going to have more life than then. Even if it's this early in the game and you put this out, she's going to anyway, because, like you said, a lot of those lands have you gain 1 life. So even if nobody lost anything yet, she still might be in the lead. Mana Confluence. I showed one of these in my Dragon deck, but I actually had 2 of these things. This is a non-foil version of that card. In the very bottom, it's another land. Look at that. I actually am going to be able to fit everything on here. Exotic Orchard. Add 1 mana of any color that an opponent controls could produce. When you have 3 mana of like 1 type and you're playing in a commander deck, typically you're gonna see the opponent have 1 of the 3, and that is that. So yeah, what did you guys think about Kim's Kaalia deck of all of these angels in her collection? She does have more angels she's collected. Obviously there's angels that are also in blue and green, and we do have some. They are in her binder. We will get there eventually when I get to binders. I just wanted to show off the main decks first. But yeah, that is everything for the Kaalia of the Vast Commander Divine Speed Dial deck. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to like the videos and subscribe for more, and I will see you guys in the next one. Booyah!